the pawn shop and travels on a highway, stopping at a gas station to buy gas and a drink. She heads toward North Carolina. Tuesday, May 2nd, 2024. John Paul Miller sits down with WPDE for an interview. During the interview, he mentioned some of the struggles he thought Mica had with mental health.
So over the years since we've been married, some people struggle with high blood pressure, some struggle with diabetes, her struggle was with mental health. And whenever she stayed on her lithium, things were amazing. She'd come off sometimes and things would get a little unusual. Per her doctors, they told her even just recently they had written that she was homicidal, suicidal, and she had struggled with suicide before. And each time, helped her through it, took her to her doctor, and we got through it, and everything was fine. And so this past time was still a shock, an incredible shock.
Mica Miller's family still has too many unanswered questions in the wake of the 30-year-old reportedly taking her own life. In a new interview with Law and Crime Network titled Family of Pastor's Dead Wife, Mica Miller, Break, Silence. What else is he hiding? Mica's dad says police looked at her death as equivalent in their eyes to previous self-inflicted wounds. Michael Francis said that since there were multiple shell casings found at Lumber River State Park and a live round found, the scene already didn't make much sense. He expected the investigation to automatically include a complete toxicology, not just blood alcohol, but also a complete autopsy, which was not done. He said that Mica's estranged husband, John Paul Miller, rushed the cremation process. Her family pressed police for information, and the sheriff's office handed the family a flash drive of data. Michael doesn't think it sounds like his daughter during the 911 call because she speaks so slowly. He admitted he hasn't heard certain information himself because the more information he has filtered to him, the more furious he becomes. Michael talked about the bruising on Mica's hands that he witnessed firsthand and even photographed, calling it the worst day of his life. He didn't speak of Mica being overheard crying, but about alleged screaming going on at the time that seemed indicative to him of a fight. He spoke of scratches on her hands that seemed to him to be defensive wounds. It was the park ranger who took Michael to the scene and pointed out where Mica would have been standing and where the shell casings were found, along with a live round. Michael said Mica knew how to use a weapon, and she's not going to charge the weapon and eject a live round. Law enforcement had no answers for that. Michael also has a photo of a bullet hole in a tree, as if Mica somehow missed shooting herself and first shot a tree. Her dad is not buying it. He said that police just didn't seem to put the effort forth to fully investigate, so her family is very disappointed. The coroner in training spoke to the chief coroner and wondered aloud if Mica's scratches weren't from when they retrieved her from the water. Michael asked if there was blood in those scratches, but they had no answers. He thought the scratches could indicate some type of scuffle. He even demonstrated how the scratches appeared vertically, theorizing some type of pressure where the bruise was perhaps came from someone else's hand, combined with the very slow speech on the 911 call, coming from a woman who's a very happy-go-lucky, excitable person. Michael believes Mica's voice could have been produced with an AI type of recording. Michael also wants more information about John Paul's alibi and confirmation that the disgraced pastor was actually in South Carolina at the time. We've seen pictures of his truck, he said. It had dark windows. Was it even him in there? Where's pictures of him physically there? Michael said cops didn't check for any tracking devices on her car. There are no cameras at the park to determine if she was followed. Mica was found about 40 meters away from the shell casings. Since water doesn't flow there in the still slough, he doesn't know why those elements would be found so far apart. Sierra Francis spoke of how John Paul probably set his sights on Mica when she was a teen and designed it so that she would be his church secretary and babysitter to keep her close to him.